And another chance for the fans to pay homage to the jungle.
And the awards roll on. What's our next category?
The next category is Team of the Year.
Lots of good teams this year. Football, team sport, podcasting, also often a team game. Let's take a look at the nominees. First up, Celtic Fans TV. You've got Paul, the face of Celtic YouTube, the heartbeat of the show. You've got Callum, so good he's being touted by Sky Sports. And you've got my personal favourite member, Martin. Martin combines old school charm with new school riz. When you look at Martin, you think he might be one of these grumpy, just play 4-4-2 types. Martin is a friendly, happy-go-lucky, smiley character. My favourite in all of Celtic Fans TV. But I need to make one thing clear here. This nominee is for Paul, Martin and Callum. It is not for Paul, Callum and Stuart. It is not for Paul, Lee and Darren. And it is not for Paul, Callum and Darren. No, this nominee is strictly for Paul, Martin and Callum. What's our next nominee? We've got the Celtic the Thunder. Ran 118, the man who steers the ship. His faithful right-hand companion with left-wing views, you've got Kieran Auld. Ryan McGinley, the evil genius of the operation. And we've also got the quiet man, Callum Craig. Callum is as real as it gets. Now, I also need to make clear, this is not for the new combination of Ryan 118, Callum, Kieran and Dylan. This is not for Ryan 118 and Kieran on one of their foreign jaunts like we saw in episode 132 when the boys went to Munich. And this is not for Ryan 118, Dylan and Kieran. No, this is specifically for the fatal four of Ryan 118, Ryan McGinley, Kieran Auld and Callum Craig. And our last nominee then is, make no mistake about it, there's only one lineup for 20-minute Tims. The come town of Celtic YouTube. You've got Jamie, Nick Mullen. You've got Stephen, of course, Adam Friedland. And you've got Martin Melly, of course, Stavros Halkias. So, who's our first winner? Team of the Year, let's find out. And the winner is Celtic Fans TV. What a year it's been for the boys. So, what's our next category?
The next category is Interview of the Year.
Lots of great interviews this year. Let's take a look at the nominees. First up, the unforgettable episode of This Is Axon with George Galloway. Interview hosts were Paul John Diggs. How could we have a Celtic YouTube award ceremony without talking about Paul John Diggs? In my opinion, Paul John Diggs is Celtic YouTube, or as some people like to call him, John Paul Diggs. We also have Stephen Craig, nice of him to tidy himself up for the interview, and the irrepressible Tommy Sheridan. What I love about Tommy is that he just talks about whatever he wants to talk about. Nice of him to wear the free Axom shirt that he got given for this interview. And George Galloway. In this interview, a bit of talk about Celtic, a lot of talk about things like Palestine and Syria. George talks about whatever is on his mind. Here's our next nominee. The Battle to Save Celtic with David Lowe. Interview by Tino Callahan on the Celtic Exchange podcast. Now, what says class like David Lowe in a black turtleneck sweater? This interview was so good, I watched it 2 times. Very informative. There's nobody smarter on Celtic YouTube than David Lowe. And our next nominee, another one for This Is Axon. Their interview with Terry Christian. This time, JP Mason got involved. JP always burst into talk about music. My two favourite things about this interview. Number one, I don't think Terry Christian knows all that much about Celtic, but he certainly was a good conversation for the boys. And my other favourite thing was Tommy Sheridan just going off on tangents. Who could forget his infamous, or famous because I loved it, tangent about Neil Lennon during the COVID season where we had to back Lenny. Tommy, you're a great man no matter what anybody says. So, who's our winner for this award? Big moment interview of the year. And the winner is, of course, George Galloway on This Is Axon. George just can't stop winning this year. He won the election and he wins this award. Which one means more to him? I think we all know. And what's our next category?
The next category is Video of the Year.
Plenty of talented video makers on Celtic YouTube this year. Let's take a look at the nominees. First up, we have Inside Football's Most Dangerous Rivalry. That was made by the Department of Information. So far as I could tell, they sent a young boy from New Zealand over to Glasgow to interview both sets of fans ahead of a derby game. One set of fans came off much worse than the other. I think you can figure out which set of fans it was. Who's our next nominee? John Barnes' terrible time in charge of Celtic. That one's from Flashback Football. If you made a YouTube channel and you created videos, biographical and informational videos about Celtic and Scottish football, Flashback Football is the sort of person who would drive you insane. You would constantly be comparing your views, your subscribers to Flashback Football, and they would always be inferior, but you wouldn't be bitter about it. You would still give him a nominee in the awards. This video was a great tutorial about John Barnes' almost 1 year as Celtic manager. And if you had the idea to make this video first, but he published his one before you got to do it, there's no way you could ever prove that, so you definitely shouldn't be bitter about it. Great video. Our next one is The Referee Who Hated Celtic. This one comes from another one from Paul. Hugely informative video about Hugh Dallas rightfully being blasted in the head by a coin by Celtic fans back in 1999. And the winner is... let's find out. The winner of Video of the Year at the Celtic YouTube Awards. Did you organise this one for me? It's The Referee Who Hated Celtic by another one from Paul. A great video, no matter who made it. Tops. Tops! Our next category is... let's find out.
The next category is Show of the Year.
I'm shaking the screen like a lunatic. Show of the Year, our next. So let's take a look at the nominees. First up, the Celtic the Thunder. This is where the boys get down, dirty and gritty. Look at that old set. It was perfect. It encapsulated everything great about the Celtic the Thunder. Who's our next nominee? PLZ Soccer Show, the Lenny episodes. Neil Lennon likes to land himself jobs at various clubs around Europe, get sacked, and then rock back up to the PLZ Soccer Show. A divisive show, but the episodes with Lenny were unforgettable. Let's take a look at the best moment of the year.
And first of all, the best formation that suits the squad of players.
Put that back again. Let's just hear that one more time.
And first of all, the best formation that
fear
suits
in
the
her
squad
eyes.
of players.
Put it back one more time. We need to see that again for a third time. Just watch.
It means to find, first of all, the
Is that a
formation
genuine
that suits the squad
car?
of players.
And our next nominee then is 20 Minute Tim's, of course, the flagship show, not the Breakfast of Champions exclusive on Patreon, which I of course subscribe to. So let's find out another winner for Show of the Year. This one, I have a funny feeling who's going to win this one. There we go. PLZ Soccer, the Lenny episodes. So many great moments. The look of fear in that woman's eyes will live on forever. What's our next category?
The next category is Worst Moment of the Year.
Worst moment of the year. So the Oscars has the golden raspberries. We're going to have to do some B-list awards here. Worst moment of the year. Let's take a look at the nominees. First up, Robert Snodgrass's story at the Hydro. That was on Open Goal. Fair play to them. They got over 10,000 people in the Hydro. My good friend Graham attended the show and sent me this from a mate who was there. In fact, Graham didn't attend the show, so there's that. Proven wrong. Graham sent me this though. From a mate who was there, he has said it's the most mortifying thing he has ever seen. It doesn't say ever, but it implies that. Snodgrass told a 20-minute story about being away with Scotland, and he was shagging donuts and wiping his arse on the donuts, and Andy Robertson was eating them. The crowd were booing loudly. Let's take a look at that footage. Pleading with the crowd to get back into it. That's me recording actually on the camera. Forgot to mention that I was there in attendance. Lee Griffith's prank? You know it's going well when you're asking the crowd what's wrong with yous. Lee Griffith's prank? Come on. And who's our next nominee? Oh, when Enda Call left the Huddle Breakdown. You know the old joke, what happens when an Englishman, an Irishman, and an American make a podcast about Celtic? Well, the answer was the Huddle Breakdown. The best analysis in the game. The day Enda left, I was an emotional wreck for weeks. The show hasn't been the same without him. So, worst moment of the year. Let's find out who gets the win this time. And again, I think this one's... We left out a nominee. The Celtic Thunder when Ryan McGinley left the show. Another tragic moment. As I said, the boys, the Fatal Four, were an unbeatable team, except for the team who actually beat them in the awards. But when Ryan left, another week of emotional torment for me. Let's find out who our winner is then. The winner, undoubtedly, was Robert Snodgrass's story at the Hydro. Let's see Robert Snodgrass's explanation for this moment. Enjoy Hydro. Maybe I wasn't for you. Patience is the key. Enjoy, man. What does that even mean? A non-explanation, but a great moment, or the worst moment, from Robert of the Year. What's our next category then?
The next category is Worst Commentator of the Year.
This one has been renamed the John Hartson Award because John Hartson has won this award on so many previous occasions. But let's take a look at this year's nominees. First up, Fat Sally himself, Ali McCoist. If you go on Twitter during a match when Ali McCoist is doing commentary, English people will constantly be tweeting of how great Ali McCoist is and how much they love him. Isn't he fantastic? No, he's a dreadful commentator. Nothing but cliches and fake cheeky chappy behaviour. Let's see our next nominee. Have you ever suffered from insomnia? James McFadden is the cure if you have. And our next nominee. What has happened to Ian Crocker? From Henrik Larsson, that is sensational, to whatever this is now. Ian Crocker despises only one thing more than he seems to despise his job, and that's Celtic. Listen to Ian Crocker's voice when Celtic score a goal versus when Celtic concede a goal. And let's find out our winner of the annual John Hartson Worst Commentator of the Year Awards. This one goes to Fat Sally, Ali McCoist himself. A well-deserved win for McCoist.
Our final category is Best Celtic YouTuber of the Year.
So, tragically, we're going to have to close things out on a sour note. Bring up the nominees and I'll explain exactly what happened. First up, Hamish Carton. We almost made it all the way through without talking about Hamish. One of the friendliest, happiest faces on all of Celtic YouTube. Who doesn't love that face? Celtic AM, I wake up every morning and sit down with Brecky and watch Celtic AM twice. Our next nominee, Ran118. Again, the top dog, the most subscribers on all of Celtic YouTube. Nobody surprised to see him nominated. But where things turn rather sour is our third nominee, our final nominee of the year. It's Martin from the Rangers Rabble, just making sure you're getting that name under the Timpson scarf. I wanted to give this award to Martin. Nobody in the Celtic YouTube sphere has given me more happiness or amusement than watching Martin talk about Celtic. But then, on Sunday, Celtic lost the Rangers, and the idea of giving the Celtic YouTube award for the best YouTuber to a Rangers YouTuber no longer seemed funny, or quite frankly, appropriate. So, at that point, I decided, fuck it. The winner of Celtic YouTuber of the Year is... Don't even need the envelope. It was supposed to be Martin. Tragic end to this year's award ceremony. It was written as Martin, had to scribble it out. Ran118, it goes to you because you have the most subs. So who else is it realistically going to go to? But before we end, a round of applause, please, for all nominees and all winners. We'll hope to see you at next year's Celtic YouTube Awards. Thanks for joining.